Hi, I'm Phil Campion. I'm the Regional General Manager for London and the South East. I'm also the Functional Head of the Fixed Wire Testing Department, having run that department in its own right for several years. I'm just going to talk to you a bit about the importance of gathering all the information that we need at point of sale to enable us to do the work efficiently and plan it efficiently. So the first thing we need to know is how many circuits are required to be tested, or an estimate of how many man days the engineers will be required to be on site. That'll go hand in hand with getting the correct contact details and site address so that we can plan efficiently to get in touch with the site, let them know when we're coming and know how long we're going to be there so that we can roll smoothly onto the next client site. Other information we require is if there's anything outside of our standard specification. You should all have a document on what is standard to fixed wire testing and what is chargeable extras outside of that. That'll enable us to also plan efficiently, as any extras may require more time on site. This will give the engineer all the information he needs up front to be able to do the work effectively as soon as he arrives and talk confidently to the customer about what he's actually there to do. Other information we could also require is any previous document from when the testing was done last time, as the main point of fixed wire testing is to establish if there's been any deterioration in the installation from the last time it was tested. If we can gather all this information up front, it gives us the best chance of keeping a happy customer and getting the work done right the first time, minimising returns to site, which are very costly, can cost us customers and finances. So this is all very important. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with Stuart now, who's going to walk you through our head office building with a view to showing you what information you'll be trying to gather when you attend a customer's site to do a survey for fixed wire testing.
Hi Kelly, I'm Stuart Biggs, PHS Compliance Technical Account Manager. I'm just going to go through some of the sales stuff with you now, some of the key things you need to be looking for when you're doing the site survey. So if you'd like to follow me, first thing we need to do is go to the mains cupboard. Right Kelly, this is the first place that we need to get to really. This is the main switch cupboard. This is where the main electrical intake comes into the building. So you've got supply coming in there. This then feeds off all the distribution boards throughout the building via the main switches in these distribution boards. We really need to get into this room. This is a major aspect of it really. We've got to get in here to take these supply details and also to try and organise like some form of shutdown of the building as well. It's not always going to be possible for us to shut the building down. Around 95% of the time there's no chance of shutting the building down at all. But that 5% chance, you know, we've got to try and shut it down. The reason why we need to shut it down, we need to disconnect this bonding conductor and that one. And we need to do a genuine ZE at the origin of the installation, which is at that point there. Also in this area as well, it gives us an idea of where the distribution boards are and how many are located in the building. I mean, you can see there we've got supply to DB2, so we know we're looking for another distribution board somewhere in the building. Now in this distribution board here, DB1, as you can see, there's quite a lot of circuits in there, so that's exactly what we need to count really. We need to count how many circuits are there. That'll give us an idea then of how many man days and how many engineers we need to put on site basically, so that we can plan the work accordingly, get the right resource into there, so that we can get it completed in however long the client wants us to do it by really. I mean, if they want it done in one night, I mean the engineers usually do around 40 to 50 circuits a night, so in a building like this it's got 200, we're looking at 4 man days, so you know, to try and get the right amount of engineers here, you know, is key really to get it done in the client's requirements. The other thing we need to do as well is we need to get these circuits down on this distribution board on some form of Excel sheet or site survey. What that'll then allow us to do is allow us to do a program of works, so that we can say distribution board 1 is going to be tested this morning, distribution board 2 we're going to do this afternoon, and we can go through it like that then. And then what we can do as well, then we can give the client a program of exactly what areas we're going to be affecting and you know what it's going to entail really. In this area as well, you might notice there's a couple of remedial actions. They come out the back of the report at the end. But that's another reason why the engineer needs to get access into this area, so that we can find all the remedial items that are on site. I mean, it goes the same with all the other areas of the building as well. We really need to get into everywhere so that we can see exactly what problems we've got within the installation. Like I said, the gas is located in here and the water is located in here. That's not always the case. A lot of the time these are external to this building, so what we've got to try and do is try and find out off the client where these are located. Right, Kelly, this is the exact type of example we've got to deal with when we come on site. We've got to try and organise for these workstations to go off. So, regarding the programme that we did earlier, regarding the site survey and what areas we might affect in the building, this will give us a good idea then to programme this works and to basically get these people removed from these workstations. Now, you can imagine if that can't happen, we've got to test the building out of hours, or we've basically got to organise around them really. So, that's one of the things that has to go into the programme really. I mean, this is quite a simple installation. We also deal with some industrial sites as well. Now that takes quite a bit more planning because you've got quite a lot of machinery and other items of equipment in certain areas that might be manufacturing, so therefore the programme will then go through the premises just to give the client an idea as well of exactly where we're going to be testing, at what time, and what we're going to be turning off at what time. Within this area here we've got a socket circuit down the far side and we've got a lighting circuit. You can imagine once these lights go off, we can't have people in the area really. I mean, it's not going to be safe. There might be bits of emergency lighting on, but there's going to be no lighting in here because the engineer has got to do a test at the board, and he's also got to do a test at the furthest point of the light fitting, and he's going to have to get up on ladders at that end. So, it's not really safe for people to be in here. He's also got to test the socket circuit as well. So, like I say, that's going to mean these workstations being turned off and people moved out the area. I mean, once this is complete, then we move on to another area. And like I say, it's similar for an industrial type location, but it just takes a little bit more planning because, there's machinery that would have to go off at a certain stage of the day. So Kelly, here we are. As we've seen downstairs before in the mains cupboard, we had a supply to distribution board 2, and this is distribution board 2. Now I know this building quite well, so I know where these distribution boards are located, but that's not always the case when you go to site. A lot of the time, they'll be hidden away in little cupboards, they'll be hidden in switch rooms themselves, so that's where speaking to the maintenance team and speaking to the on-site teams basically, they usually know where all these are located, so they'll give you a good idea of where everything is. Like I said, the maintenance teams usually know where all these are. Sometimes not always the case, but the more detail we can get on the survey, the better really. So if we can get as many distribution boards as we can, count the circuits within there, the locations, we're doing the best we can really with it. Right, one thing we do come across is sometimes we can't isolate circuits. Now, we're dealing with an office environment at the minute, and that's best case scenario really, that we can move people out, and as I was talking about before with the programme on Excel, we can move people out of areas and we can test in them areas. We can literally get rid of everyone so we can turn anything off we want to. That's not always the case. We do deal with some big banking installations, server rooms. Some of these server rooms feed all the ATMs right throughout the country, so the chances of turning them off are minimal, right? It's probably never going to happen. So what we've got to do in that case is, it's got to be agreed with the client, but what we'll do is we'll do live testing on there. So in other words, we'll take all the details down, but we won't turn anything off. And what we'll do is, where that says training rig there, we'll go to the training rig and we'll do a live test. So the board's indicated that it's feeding a certain piece of equipment, so we'll go there and do a live test. Now for me, that's actively doing something about the installation rather than doing nothing at all. Now what we'll also do as well, we'll try and supplement that with thermal imaging. So in other words, we'll take an image of the distribution board, an image of the equipment, and just make sure there's no hot spots really, because the hot spots indicate a problem really, whether it be a loading issue or whether it be a termination issue in the distribution board. It just highlights if there is any problems. That way, we've not got to turn the installation off, and we're actively doing something about the installation. One thing we do as well is, on some of the sites that we go on, we also do some pat testing as well. Only small bits of pat testing the fixed wire guys do. Now that's just so that we can go to a site and complete it really. If there's 10 or 15 pats, we can do them on site basically, and move away, and the site's completed. If there's 200, 300 pat tests, the fixed wire guy won't be expected to do that. We'd usually send a pat tester in there afterwards. He'd go in and see, they do around 200 to 300 pats a day, so that's just one day's work for him. But regarding the smaller sites where there's 10 or 15 pats, yeah, we'll get the fixed wire guy to do it. I mean, it's on a different format regarding the Excel sheet that it comes on, but for the minimal amount of pats it is, we can get there, complete the site and get away. Minimum disruption to the client, they've not got to organise access a second time, and basically, like I say, the site's completed then. Now, one other thing that you need to be looking at regarding a sales point of view is, for instance, this distribution board needs testing in 2015. Right? If we go past that anniversary date and there's a problem on the installation, it's not been tested. It's out of its date, really. It's out of its anniversary date. Now, ideally, we need to be looking at contacting these clients 5-6 months in advance of their anniversary date. And we can even use the anniversary date as a little pusher to get them done, to tell them, look, July 2015, you're going to be out of compliance. Really, we need to be getting in and organising this work prior to that date so that you don't run over your anniversary date, because you'll also have remedial actions on the back of these as well that need to be completed as well. So that's it, really.